Hello, this is an overview of the installation of the Dado door track system. So I've got an animation here that will show all of the components of a standard single door pocket door kit. So if you've got a bipart kit, meaning you've got two panels, it'll still be the same exact set of hardware. You'll just have two panels with two sets of rollers and two sets of door clamps on it. So what you've got is you're going to have a track system, an aluminum track here. The pulley block is the idle pulley on the far end to the left here. The motor is the motor assembly that goes on the right. Typically the motor assembly is in the pocket. And then you've got a home switch here. So let me zoom in on the home switch. You've got a home switch here. All right. And then you've got two rollers. And the two rollers have a tab, and the tab is not visible in this video, but the two tabs will face each other. So you have a tab here and a tab here, and they'll face each other if you've got two rollers. If you've got 4 or 5 or 6 rollers, the outside tabs where the belt connect, those are the ones that are important, that the tabs are facing inwards towards the inside of the door. All right, so first thing is let's take a look at what the first requirement is. So you're going to put up a header, and the header will be whatever it is that you want, just as long as it'll support the load of the door. There's no special requirement on our end as long as it supports the door. You will get some 3/8" threaded rods here, and the standard kit has 9" threaded rods, and so there's a bracket that will mount on top of the track system here with some button head bolts. And this threaded rod, 9 inches long, it's 9 inches so it can go through a 4x6 turned on edge. So it's designed to go through 5.5 inches of wood. So you would have 1.5 inches below and about 1.5 inches on top. So I did this to save space. I just drew a 2x4 and I drew a short threaded rod. Yours would be 9 inches long unless we specify something other than that, shorter or longer perhaps. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is the track, when you get it, it will already be marked on the top here, the locations for these brackets, which are the standard, prescribed locations for these brackets. And on a standard 3080 door, you'll probably have 5 of these threaded rods. For this video, you see 4, but I'm just trying to cram some stuff in a smaller space. So on that bracket, you would attach your brackets to the top of the track with these button heads. All right, and the button heads grip the side of the aluminum, and that's how it holds itself onto the I-beam track. See, the track looks like a T or an I-beam. All right, then you put the threaded rod. You would drill by whatever method you will mark your locations to drill the holes, and then you'll drill 1-inch diameter holes all the way through your header. Okay, this is the standard install, and there may be situations where you're attaching a track directly to the bottom of a header because you don't have room for something to come out the top. But the standard method is you're going to drill however many locations that are marked on the top of the track. You're going to drill that many holes, 1-inch diameter holes. The idea is that the 3/8" threaded rods don't touch the inside of the hole, and also it gives you a little bit of play so you can kind of move the thing around a little bit. And then so you first attach the threaded rod to the track, all right, in the locations as marked. Then you slide on the home switch. So the home switch slides on here. This home switch here, the physical switch, is plastic, and it is delicate, so be careful not to drop that or put any force on it because it can break. It's just a plastic switch here. So you slide on the home switch. Now keep in mind the home switch is adjustable. So once you put this home switch on, it will adjust backwards and forwards for the purpose of defining what is the fully open position. And so with the home switch about 1/16 of an inch away from the edge of the door, that will be your fully open position. On power up, this door moves over, presses in this button, and then releases back off the button. And sometimes it could look like it's touching. Sometimes it might have a 1/16, worst case an 1/8 of an inch gap. But you'll move this home switch back and forth to define your fully open position, so the door is flush with trim, millwork, opening to your pocket, whatever the case is. And then once you put the home switch in the right position, there is a 1/4-20 Allen bolt here that you'll tighten down, and you'll drive that bolt up into the bottom of the aluminum here so that the home switch doesn't slide around anymore. Okay, you'll slide the motor on this end, and these pieces of plastic on this bearing assembly, they fit snugly, but they will go on. They will have been tested that they fit onto the I-beam. And then once the motor is slid on, this bolt here is your belt tensioning bolt that goes out to a tension nut that's a block. It's a Delrin plastic block here. Make sure that that block is seated all the way on to the track here. It needs to go onto the slot. If it's not on the slot, then you're going to have problems later. All right, so the same thing here on the pulley block side. Let me zoom in there. On the pulley block side, which is opposite the motor, let me see if I can zoom in here. You've got the same thing. You've got the belt tensioning bolt, which is a 5/16 inch Allen bolt here, and there's the head of the bolt here. And then it goes into the tension nut. Now, when you install the system, you want this bolt to be all the way as loose as it can get, all right? So that way when you start tightening up the belt, you have more room to go with the bolt. So you don't want to tighten this up and then put on the belt, because then this bracket would already be out as far as it can go, okay? Again, be careful that the tension nut is seated up on the I-beam track. All right, so you will put the track on, and then you'll leave these nuts on the top of the threaded rod loose. Leave the track hanging down loose for the time being until your door is installed. And then once the door is installed, you'll raise and lower the track with, let me zoom back out here. You'll raise and lower the track by tightening up the nuts on the top of the threaded rod. As you tighten up the threaded rod, the track and the whole system moves up. Okay, let me slide this back over. All right, so once you have the track installed, attached with the threaded rods, and you've got the nuts on the top, including the washers, you want to make sure that you have the fender washers here. And there's the standard is you have a flat steel washer, fender washer, with a rubber washer inside, and then another steel washer on top, and that separates or isolates the track system from your header from vibration, because all vibration must pass through the rubber washer first. Okay, same on the bottom. You've got the same thing on the bottom, and this thing is shown loose. Once you have it leveled and you have the door leveled and the door plumbed in all positions, then you'll tighten up this bottom jam nut, push this washer up, and sort of lock this threaded rod into position there. Okay, once you have the door installed, you'll attach your belt. The belt attaches to a bracket here. This is a belt lock tab. These button head 1/4-20 bolts, you take those off, put the belt through all the way up to about here. So you could push through about an inch extra through here. It's not shown that, but you could push that through a little bit, just so it gives you a little buffer for error. And then you tighten the button heads back down onto the belt. Then you run the belt through the motor here, and it's not so simple to just put the belt around it. The belt must run through a thing that holds and forces the belt up against the pulley. So the pulley's right here, and there's a belt anti-slip bracket, as I call it. Looks like a C, and that C bracket holds the belt up against the pulley. Sometimes it's easy if you take this part here. Let me see if I can move this up. Take this part here, spin it, and you can spin the belt through it. So you kind of thread the belt through it, all right? And then the belt comes out the other side. The belt on the other side, it will sit in some slots here on the top of the door, these little guides that provide a little channel for the belt to live in on the back side, so the belt stays vertical. The belt goes all the way down to the other side, comes out the other side, and attaches to this clamp on this end. So the belt does not run the full duration or the full length all the way up, back and forth. Okay, so the belt will cut here, will start here, go down, go all the way around, come back here, and then you'll cut the belt here. So more belt is provided than will be needed. Usually there's a couple of feet extra provided. So the belt is steel. You'll need some tin snips or something sharp to cut it because it is a steel belt, and you're not going to cut it with easily with a pair of scissors or anything like that. It's a rubber polyurethane coated belt, but it is steel on the inside, so it's going to be like cutting aircraft cable. All right, so again, they're not shown, but these white tabs, the quick release tabs, are should be on the inside of the roller. Inside meaning on this side facing in, and on this side facing in. You would attach your clamps to the top of the door. There's about 7 holes on the top of the clamps. There's a pointer here that you can see, and that pointer is to be dead center of the door. So if you want to put a chalk line, if you want to measure it and put a mark, but make sure that pointer on both sides, there's one on each end, make sure that pointer is dead center, okay? And then you've got 7 holes. Put some lag bolts. Keep in mind this piece of plastic here is 1 inch thick, so I would advise some 4 inch long, number 8, 9, 10s, something like that will be fine. 4 inches long, that would give you a good 3 inch grip down into the top of the wood door. Don't loosen up these nuts these bolts on the top going into the clamp as an adjustment. You don't want to do that because then it throws off the height of the belt, and that's not good. You want to adjust the height of the door with the nuts on the threaded rod always. Don't touch this bolt right here that goes into the clamp, even though some people try to adjust that, but it just makes the belt drop down, and now the belt's going at an angle here. On power up, first have the door pushed out like halfway open. So this is fully open, this is fully closed. Push it about halfway open, turn on the power with the cables plugged in. We'll go over that in a different video in terms of hooking up the electronics. But you'll turn on the power. Once you turn on the power, the door does a couple little short moves, diagnostic moves for the controller to determine that the door is connected. And then after a couple little short moves, like 1/8 inch back and forth, the door should be moving towards the home switch. The home switch default position is in the pocket right next to the motor. There are rare cases where the motor might be on the strike side jamb, but that would be something we would discuss as a custom position. If you have a biparting system, still this would be your right door, this would be your left door over here. The right door would still be moving towards the home switch here. If you turn on the power and this door starts moving away from the home switch, then nothing is going to stop the door. It's going away from the home switch. The home switch is what defines the final open position. The door is just going to go this way and bang into whatever it hits. Make sure that you observe on the first power up that the door is moving slowly towards this home switch. It hits the switch, comes off the switch, and it says ready, hold mode off, and then it's ready for operation. And then I'll show you in another video, or we can discuss it over the phone, how to set the limits for the door to move here. That's called set close position, and there's a couple of ways to set that position in the menu of the master controller.